What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is our guest for this week on the Hylians Gamescast, Cece. We also have our two awesome co-hosts, Kayla and Daniel. Today, we're going to be talking about our review of Blossom Tales, which was kindly provided to us for free. But Daniel did purchase his copy.
I bought it.
Yeah.
I was too giddy about it.
Yeah. A short while before we got the codes. So, unaware that we would be getting the codes like a week from the moment that he bought it, he purchased the game. Sorry. But I've always joked around, and Daniel previously just stated the same joke, that it is the best 2D Zelda game on the Nintendo Switch. And likely just the best 2D Zelda game that you could play on PlayStation or any other console as well.
Yeah.
So it has a mix between an 8 to 16-bit art style, like just the new, I would call it the new pixel style. Yeah, like it definitely couldn't run on.
Yeah, it's a lot smoother than
I
don't find on those consoles.
I don't even know if this could like properly run on a GameCube.
But it's like Shovel Knight, right? Like in that it's got that style, but like there's no way an NES could run Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
like no way.
So this game not only, like, a lot of people look at games and they'll call them like a Zelda clone or a Zelda ripoff, which is they'll take a lot of gameplay mechanics, art style, basically taking games like A Link to the Past and just making their own version of it. This game does that, but it doesn't stay or like try to keep itself from that. Like, there are Zelda references, like plenty of them in this game.
Right in the intro.
Yeah, like it doesn't the old man is like, let me tell you another story about an elf boy from oh wait a minute, or something like that.
You told us that story already.
Yeah, so like this game doesn't stray away from its love of Zelda, where other games are like, no, we're a completely original game. Also, here are heart pieces you can collect, and your health is different heart pieces. Here's a magic meter, here's a sword, a shield, boomerang. Here are dungeons where you get a new item and a boss at the end of it. So like
a magic meter, I really like that it uses sort of the Link Between Worlds style of the stamina meter.
Yeah.
As opposed to having like you have to collect arrows and bombs.
Yeah, no, I really like that, because oh my goodness, those dungeons would have been terrible if I couldn't find extra bombs or anything.
Alright, so here's the thing. For this review, to keep it kind of spoiler free, don't give off too much of the story or the ending or anything like that. But
I haven't actually beat it yet, so I can't give off the ending.
So aside,
it's good.
Like
it's what you'd expect.
Yeah,
so.
Like, we literally started this off saying it essentially plays like a traditional 2D Zelda game, which is great because there isn't one on the Switch yet. But, so by saying that, we can say that it has dungeons, like different items you collect, the heart being used as your health, stuff like that. Yeah, like that's all. None of that's spoilers.
Ice block puzzles.
Yeah, none of this is spoilers, because when you think of a 2D Zelda game, you automatically assume all of this stuff is going to be in it. Anyways, so talking about the dungeons or puzzles and stuff isn't really spoiling anything. It should be common sense. So with that in mind, if you do consider those spoilers, that's like looking at whatever the next Zelda game is and be like, oh yeah, there's a cool boss fight. I was like, why did you ruin it for me? I wanted to come across the cool boss fight myself. So,
unless it's the final boss. Then that's spoiler.
Anyways, so yeah. Let's go back to when you guys first started this game. So you pick it up, you started playing it after it's downloaded. What are your initial thoughts? Starting with you, Kayla.
My favorite was like classic Zelda. Like, you wake up in bed, and they're like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to go to the castle for such and such," and you're like,
Oh,
"What?"
it's like a Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Like the three pots beside your bed and everything.
Yeah. So like that's what really got me initially when I first started playing, and I just have to say, like, the music for that game, it is bumping.
Okay, the third dungeon music. I want everyone who's watching this to go. Don't close this video, but just open up in a new window, find Blossom Tales OST Frostfruit Dungeon. It's just like crazy, awesome music. I actually just listened to it casually. Honestly, the music's so good in this game.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
But yeah, Kayla, like the first 10 to 15 minutes of this game, like, did you think like, oh, this is just gonna be like a generic Zelda ripoff, or did you?
I don't know. For some reason, like it felt really nice to be playing something that felt so familiar at the same time. Can you guys hear that big jet?
Not really. No.
Vague,
okay, good.
Barely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like it was really nice just to be playing something that was really familiar and that it had its own little like twists and its own little quirks. I also really liked the way that they kind of added their own personality to it. Like I kind of noticed there are like occasional things where as the grandpa is telling the story, his kids will interject and be like no, it should be this way, or no, it should be that way. And then at the end you kind of get to pick like which one, so you help form the story while the kids are helping give you options.
Yeah.
Not like really extensively, but just like little things that make it fun.
Yeah.
But like even one of the bosses you come across is like which one are you gonna fight? And it's a nice flourish, you know?
Yeah.
So what did you and a few minutes ago I mentioned, did you think it was going to be just another generic Zelda ripoff? I didn't mean that this game was just a Zelda ripoff, because there are a bunch of unique stuff that makes it stand out, like the storytelling that you mentioned. I just like if you pick up an iPad or something and go on the iTunes store, you'll see like embarrassing Super Mario Brothers or Zelda ripoffs, to where it's like it's not Super Mario Bros, it's Super Jump Brothers or something like that, which is like literally copying. Yeah, like it literally copies all of the levels, everything, and it's just like a palette swap of Super Mario Bros. Uploaded to the iTunes store, just so they can put ads. But with this game, it's like a huge Zelda fan just made the game. But anyways, Daniel, what was your first 15 minutes of this game like?
Yeah, I mean, further to what you said, it's like it wears it on sleeve, very proudly, like this is Zelda inspired. Not ashamed of that. We just want to make a great game. Yeah, when you first start, honestly, like it does have that super familiar feeling, but that just brings you into it. But there's a lot of little touches, things that if I went back to play like A Link to the Past, which I think the game is most derived from of all the Zelda games, I think there's things I'd miss. Like there's a nice little 1-2 punch sort of move when you're using your sword.
Yeah.
Which you can find in a lot of things, like Mario 64 has got a nice 1-2 punch in his moveset. But in Zelda, he just, in 3D Zelda games, this is the case as well. But in 2D Zelda games, it's just, you can just slash, and it's just one slash or the spin attack. But Lily, who's the player character, she's got a nice slash, and then she'll do a little spin attack.
Yeah.
And it's this nice little flourish, but it's very good. It handles well for combat, for cutting grass, and then you get an upgrade to your spin attack where it's a nice little jump attack too, and it just makes the combat way more interesting than what is actually in 2D Zelda games. And I love my Zelda, obviously, you know that. But it does open it a lot for interesting combat in this game. So I think they handle that a little bit better. Also, in the chat, some people actually looked up that song I said too, and they.
I know.
I just want to say thank you guys for backing me up. It's so good. But yeah, no, like it's also nice that there's no like princess that's in danger, or I don't know. That kind of was nice as well. That the villain kind of actually took me by surprise. It shouldn't have. I don't feel like it, but I still didn't see it because I was like, oh, you can find out super early in the game who the villain is. But I was like, oh, okay, it's that guy. Like, kind kind of wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the puzzles in it are really like, some of the puzzles are Zelda puzzles, like sliding ice blocks. But some of the other puzzles, like which ledges you're actually able to jump down to navigate this one area in like the snowy mountain place, or there's a puzzle where you have to walk on certain blocks. You have to like check all of them off, but you can't walk along the same block again. It's really hard to explain without a visual, but the puzzles are really good. Very Zelda puzzles, but some really unique ones too. And I love that stuff. Like there's one puzzle where I got stuck on it for like 10 minutes, and I'm just like trying. But when you get through it, you feel so good getting through it. You know, it's yeah, the bosses are pretty fun too. Like they're not, I wouldn't say the bosses are the highlights, because they're pretty good. Like the main dungeon design is really the highlight, but the bosses are still pretty fun.
I was actually after you kind of moved into it by yourself, but I was gonna say like start out giving the first 15 minutes, and then we were gonna move to the dungeon design.
Oh, well,
but like,
what do you know?
Well,
kind of
he's just naturally
transitioned.
doing it. He knows how to review a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the bosses, like the first boss is straight up like a Zelda boss. It's like a giant head statue with two floating hand statues, and that's when my son saw me playing that, he thought it was the boss from Super Mario Odyssey, which is the giant head statue with two floating hands.
Yeah, that's it's a
Nintendo.
design that's reused by Nintendo a lot. Like
Andross, and like every Zelda game has one.
Yeah, like Bonga Bonga. The Zant's little statues that like the hands that try to come for you.
Yeah, Minish Cap had one.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah, I guess we're talking dungeons then.
Yeah. So, Kayla, what were your thoughts on the dungeons? How far? Daniel mentioned he beat the game. We're not going to be talking about the ending, but how far have you made it?
I'm actually just at the boss for the third dungeon.
Okay. I kind of feel bad for CC. CC, you haven't played the game, have you?
No,
Okay.
I have not. So, but it's cool
Look
to
it up.
listen.
Okay.
Look
I'm
it
curious
up
about
while
it.
we're talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen like YouTube videos. And...
Well, you're cutting out there. She's gone.
Cece,
come back.
But
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I'm right here.
All right.
dungeon wise, like I really enjoyed it. Like I'm having a lot of fun with it, and there's always like something new and something that just kind of surprises me. I really like Blossom Tales because it plays like it should be, like more of like kids would be okay playing it. But then you kind of get to parts occasionally, and I find this has happened in a couple of dungeons where I'll be playing and I'm like, I've redone this thing a couple of times. I keep dying. I'm frustrated, but I need to get through this. And like, it just kind of makes me feel like I love that. I love it when that happens.
But that was me. Okay, this morning, like I love that. Honestly, Kayla, for those watching, has referred to me in the past as a gaming masochist. But like this morning, I was playing Tropical Freeze, for example, and in each level there's the Kong letters, and when you get all the Kong letters in that like world, you unlock the bonus level. Those bonus levels are hard as Deku nuts. They're ridiculously challenging, and I spent like half an hour on one of them this morning, just like dying over and over again. I had 99 red balloons, so I was okay. but just like for some reason, like I can just keep going through like that, and I did encounter that in Blossom Tales as well. There's a few parts in the dungeons where I'm just like, damn, how do I get through this? But it's just like it makes me want to go get through it more the more I keep failing at it. As weird as that sounds, and it makes the satisfaction just so much better when you actually get through it.
Yeah. So with the first 15 minutes in the dungeon, what did you guys think about the overworld itself?
It's Hyrule from Minish Cap. No, it's so good. Like it's very Zelda. Like you're gonna find, like the secret grottos, like the holes in the ground you fall through. You're gonna be grass and stuff. But the locales actually were, I was kind of not expecting much, because the first area you go to is like, okay, it's like Hyrule Field almost. And then you go into like the forest area, and you're like, okay. But then it takes like some turns with like, okay, now this is like a weird swampy marsh with like haunted swampy marsh, and it's, the atmosphere is really good for that. Like some of those locales that you go through are just like, the music helps a lot as well. But it's the world building is really strong there, and it makes it far more interesting than I anticipated, because the first bit I was just kind of like, okay, like this is fun, but what's next?
Yeah, I really liked the Overworld. I thought it was really interesting, and like you said, the music really made it. Actually, the reason why I haven't beaten it yet is because there were a couple of days where, for some reason, I did not know how to get to that third dungeon. I was like wandering around, and I couldn't find my way north of the castle. I was like, how do I get north of the castle? Why am I cut off by this wall? And can't I go any further? And then I accidentally stumbled upon it.
There's like a gate on one side, and the switch is on the other side of the gate, and then you go all the way to the other side of the map. It's the same thing, and it's just like, how do I get there? And then you just find it. There's a door. That's how.
Yeah.
There's a door you have to go through.
Also really fun, you can like teleport to different places as well, and they do have like, I would say they're like really a lot of side quests, but they're definitely like little things that you can kind of like go and do for an extra like little heart piece, or they have like these little collectible things that you can get as well.
Yeah, and actually I really like that there's the teleportation pads that you can find, especially that there's like three in each dungeon, like one at the beginning of the dungeon, one midway through the dungeon, and one at the end of the dungeon.
Yeah.
So if you need to go back out, maybe go to the shop or something, like you have that opportunity, and you won't necessarily have to go through and retread the whole dungeon.
Yeah, and they always have one like right before the boss, because they know like you're gonna die at least once.
You will die.
Yeah, I think people in the chat are talking about the price of the game, so I guess our job worked, and a few people are considering getting it.
Definitely should.
Yeah, it was like $20, though I'm in Canada, so it's probably 15 in the States.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. So
Roman says it sounds awesome. He's gonna go pick it up.
Yes,
someone says
honestly,
it's $16 tonight. Yeah, so this is on Steam, so you can play it on PC if you're like a PC dork.
If you
like Kayla,
like a 2D Zelda game and liked it, it's worth picking up. Yeah.
And then it's on Switch, basically every console, I imagine. So what about the I guess we can focus on the items a little bit. So what did you guys think about the items compared to traditional Zelda game items?
Well, you've got like your staples, you know, like bombs, your bow, boomerang. It's just kind of like the standard set. But then you've got these like the medallions that you can get, which are like magic ones. There's only a few of them. One of them only works very circumstantially. That took me a bit to figure out. But there's like the fireball one is like so useful when you get it, by the way.
Yes, I love that one. It helped me so much through one of the bosses.
I used that one probably way too much in the last dungeon. Like it was pretty much all I was using was just that fireball item. The only thing is I think the boomerang is too powerful. Because the boomerang does the same amount. It's so overpowered. Like once you get the boomerang, there's no point in having the bow.
Yeah, exactly. Like you really only use the bow to solve like puzzles or like hit the little targets and stuff. But the boomerang, it's like you like shoot it out, instant kill one person, and then you walk over, it swings over, and it like kills the other people in its path.
It's like the exact opposite of the bow and boomerang in Zelda games.
Yeah, and I like kept expecting the boomerang to just like stun them or to take a couple hits, but no, it just like clears out these enemies. I'm like, oh my god, this is too powerful. So yeah, that's kind of the imbalance. Like it's still fun, I guess. I shouldn't really, but
all right. Did you sorry, what were you gonna say, Kayla?
Oh, they also gave us a very kind of like almost feather-like item, which was a pair of shoes that makes you run really fast. I haven't I haven't found a use for those shoes yet.
Okay,
Don't
I
spoil
found
it for me.
in the third dungeon, there's some uses because
Okay.
it's an ice dungeon. For those who don't know, this is very important for the context. I don't spoil too much, but since it's an ice dungeon, there's gonna be spots in it where there's ice, and you're gonna like have the stupid ice physics where you slide.
Where there's ice.
There's ice,
where there's
ice in the
there's gonna be
ice
gameplay
dungeon.
where there's narrow ice paths that you're gonna slide off of. But with the boots item, you do a quick dash, and you just come to a full stop, even on the ice.
Yeah.
So for control in that situation, I found it useful. But other than that, it's not really that useful. Yeah.
I've tried to use it in some places, and I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of the items are kind of underused, where you'll find like you're using really only a few out of like 3 of them. But
But I feel like for like an indie game, like it just kind of shows like the amount of like depth you put into it. It's just like, well, what kind of items can we put into it? And who knows? Maybe there was a purpose, and you just didn't find it.
That's true. That could be. But I mean, there was also, as far as like the puzzles go in the game, like some of the ways that they use the bow, I wasn't expecting. I wouldn't want to spoil it, but I was like, okay, yeah, like that's actually a really cool use for the bow.
Yeah.
That you don't really see, and like it has been done in Zelda, but not a ton. So, and also someone in the chat asked me how many hours I put into the game RPG. How many hours of play? I think I spent about 20 hours on the game, but I also did a lot of side quests and stuff, and I also did a lot of wandering the world too, so killing mushrooms. So
I feel like you get really immersed in it. Like I beat the first 2 dungeons in one sitting because I was like really into it, and then I couldn't find the next dungeon, and that's when I put it down.
But like I took 2 days off work because I was sick, and I just spent the whole day playing Blossom Tales both days. So that's I think why I got through it so quickly.
Yeah. That makes more sense. I was like, Daniel's such a busy person. He finished this game before me.
Yeah. No, it's because I was dying. I think it might have been allergies. My throat like closed up.
No, just tell the truth. You didn't play the game because you were home. You stayed home to play the game.
No, I want to keep my job, so that's stick to my story.
All right.
There's only 20. A Plumber to the Past said, yeah, it's the thing with a lot of indie games is they're usually really good but very short. That was the same thing like Shovel Knight, you can get through in like 12 hours, and that's if you're going at a leisurely pace. So yeah.
Daniel,
Jesse.
what do you have to say to the people that may be on the fence about this? Which works perfect because usually we have to talk to the people that are watching the video after it's edited and everything, but this time there are several people in the chat interested in the game. So what do you have to say to someone who is on the fence, or to Cece, who might be interested?
Kayla's gone again.
She heard her name. And just
Am I gone on here?
Oh, okay, you're frozen.
Turn off your video and turn it back on.
Am I frozen?
You're frozen at a bad time too. But yeah, if you're on the fence,
wait, I accidentally just left my phone entirely.
Hello.
Welcome back. If you're on the fence, basically think back like the first time you played to like A Link to the Past or Minish Cap or Oracle games, just whatever, like a 2D Zelda game that you played. First time you played it, that sort of magic, you know. I think Blossom Tales captures that magic again, and kind of it's nice going through maybe those same tropes again, but it's really well done, and it's nice to play through it for the first time and like have that magic back, you know. And this is a game that was made by Zelda fans above all else. Like these people clearly had a lot of respect and adoration for the source material, so it shows in the craftsmanship that they put into this game. So it's getting dark, so I'm gonna turn my lamp on here. So, right. Kayla, what do you have to say?
Yeah, take us out, Kayla. What do you think about?
Yeah, honestly, I would say 100% play it. I personally don't really play a lot of indie games, and I wish that I had more time and probably money to play more indie games. So big shout out to Castle Pixel and Miguel, and I can't remember the other guy's name, another of the designers, just for hooking us up with this and giving us this chance to be able to play it and spread the good word, because I feel like a lot of people, like, we kind of see indie games and we don't really jump right on it right away.
Yeah, it's weird because you see a AAA game come out and you're like, yeah, I'll spend $80 on that. And
Yeah,
then someone
and,
releases an indie game for $10, you're like, how do I?
Exactly. And like this indie game like really packed a punch. It wasn't just like an indie game that you pick up and you're like, oh, okay, like that's cool, I'm only gonna play it on transit. It's like, no, this is an indie game that I actually want to sit and get through and see what else there is to, you know, do in the game. It pulled me in. I like the grandpa, I like the kids, I like the way that they tell the story. I'm very story based.
All right, so
yeah,
it gets an approval
I'm glad
from everybody.
You brought that up, actually, the story base, because I totally glossed over it. So I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, the game was great. There's a story.
Does it get approval from you, Daniel?
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Oh, from both
2
of us.
thumbs up.
Awesome.
So good.
All right, so
thank you, Castle Pixel, for sending us that game,
Yeah.
even though I already paid for it.
we're going to be going
Extra
through
support.
the top 5, skipping the Smash Brothers thing because it's just rumors. So, Daniel, you said you wanted to do the most disturbing things about the Zelda universe. You're muted.
Sorry, the most disturbing one, because you cut out there too.
Yeah. So, okay, so you do want to do the most disturbing, right?
Oh yeah, those 3 articles. I'm choosing the worst one of the 3 that you put up there.
So you think that's actually the worst?
Yeah, like in quality, like it's like the most poorly written of the 3 articles.
Yeah,
Oh
but I wasn't.
Was that what we were going for? Or
No, we
did
were
I have
going
those backwards.
we're going for like the content itself, not the quality of the writing, but just like the one that makes the least amount of sense.
Okay, because like the other one was a Breath of the Wild theory one, and I did not choose that one because it was pre-release, so some of the theories like, okay, I'll give you a pass on that because the game didn't come out yet. It's an old article. Whereas this one is just like, what are you talking about? The definition of disturbing is, if the headline is top 7 ellipses most disturbing things about the Zelda universe, and it's they're very loose with their definition of disturbing. So
What about the 10 crazy scary moments? What's on that list? I almost forgot.
that one's pretty bad as well.
Yeah.
But I thought this one was worse. But I might be wrong. I could be outvoted.
Okay, so this one is
like about
20,
the 20 creepy
but
facts
I
one.
cut it down to 10 because we don't have time to go through 20.
Also, what I didn't like about this one, the 20 creepy facts one, is there were some that were like the same thing twice on here.
Yeah.
Like one was like like there's like the bottom of the well and the Shadow Temple are really scary, and then like right underneath it, it's like the bottom of the well is super scary, like as a separate entry. It's like stop. Those are yeah. So
All right.
yeah. And then,
Okay, I have an idea on this.
okay.
We can, instead of doing 10, we'll do 2 each. So 8, but we won't go in order. We can just pick whichever 2 we would like to do from this list.
Is the list in Discord? Wait a minute.
Does it matter which list? Because I'm looking at like the 20 list, and I found
Yeah,
one that I
it's
think
the
is-
20 list. Okay.
That's the one we're going with then.
The one that I like is they don't have a leg to stand on, which is the guy at the fishing pond in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
He has no legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a development thing though.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Alright.
he didn't have legs.
You can also take his hat. So you can make it so he doesn't have a hat.
If you use the fishing rod properly.
I'm
Yeah.
going back.
Alright, so we don't have to go in order on this. Again, we're just gonna. There are 20, so that gives us each plenty to choose from. That way we don't go over the same thing twice, as Daniel mentioned. It was just in the other one, I thought it was boring.
Yeah,
It-
fair.
it-
Maybe
it-
that was part of why I thought it was bad too.
It may have been because like the stuff it mentions is like disembodied hearts everywhere. I'm like, well, those are gameplay mechanics. Those aren't.
Yeah, there's not real hearts. It's not like it's beating,
Yeah,
like blood everywhere.
yeah. Like this. It's, yeah, it's just weird. Like when you cut grass and you find arrows or bombs and stuff. It's like in the game world, the people aren't running around putting bombs in the grass. It's just those are
But the
gameplay. The Minish are putting the bombs in the grass.
The Minish. No, the Minish.
All right,
The
so
Minish do that, Jesse.
are we are we ready? All right,
Yes.
That's
what's
exactly the story, Jesse.
up? All right.